In this video, I'm going to share 5 tips that I believe will help you build better ChatGPT prompts as a Salesforce professional. I know Salesforce has introduced their own prompt builder, but given that ChatGPT is still the most popular Gen AI tool out there, I figured I'd center this video around that tool. With that being said, these 5 tips in this video can still help you improve prompt building in general, regardless of the tool. So if we jump into this list with prompting tip number 1, define specific tasks. When prompting ChatGPT, you want to clearly state the specific tasks you need assistance with. Think of this as giving a precise direction to someone who's helping you. If you need specific information or a particular task done, it's better to explain exactly what you want. For example, generate a Salesforce report showing all accounts created in the last quarter with their total sales and primary contact information. So if we take that exact prompt and we enter it into ChatGPT, click enter. So as you can see, the prompt that we use returned pretty detailed steps. Because we provided precise details to help ChatGPT understand exactly what we needed, we've improved the accuracy and relevance of this response. Jumping to the next prompting tip number 2, use Salesforce terminology. It's important for you to incorporate Salesforce specific terminology and concepts into your prompts, such as opportunities, leads, campaigns, cases, and dashboards. When you use these specific terms, ChatGPT better understands what you're talking about. For example, how do I track customer complaints in Salesforce using cases? Again, if we jump back to ChatGPT, just like the last prompt, ChatGPT has provided a step by step breakdown for how we can set up and use cases for tracking customer complaints. If we move on to prompting tip number three is incorporate context. You want to include relevant context to make the interaction more efficient. If you're working on a particular issue, describe the scenario in detail. For example, your prompt might say, I'm trying to automate an email workflow for leads that have not been contacted in 30 days. How can I set this up using Salesforce Flow? So if we enter this into ChatGPT, I might start to sound repetitive here, but ChatGPT again returns a step by step guide on how to create that specific automation in Salesforce. Not only does it provide steps around creating the flow itself, but it also provides guidance on flow type, configuring the start element, adding the specific action that will send an email, and steps for saving and activating your flow. I do want to highlight that because we incorporated the right context by describing the particular scenario, along with using the specific Salesforce terminology of Salesforce Flow, this helps ChatGPT provide us more accurate steps. If we don't add that additional context in Salesforce terminology, we might receive steps that have nothing to do with Salesforce Flow. It might instead show us how to create that exact workflow in Visio, which wouldn't really help us at all in this scenario. If we move on to prompting tip number 4 is ask for best practices. As Salesforce professionals, we're always looking to follow best practices. The good news is you can leverage ChatGPT's knowledge base by asking for best practices or recommendations for Salesforce administration. For example, we could write a prompt that says, what are the best practices for maintaining data security in Salesforce? If we enter that prompt into ChatGPT, within seconds, you can see that ChatGPT provides some of the best practices to ensure robust security in Salesforce. And finally, if we move on to prompting tip number 5 is request step by step instructions. As you saw in the previous prompts, you're not always required to ask for step by step instructions. Sometimes ChatGPT just gives them to you. But if you want to ensure that you receive step by step instructions for processes that you're unfamiliar with or features that you're unfamiliar with in Salesforce, you can directly ask for the step by step instructions in the prompt itself. For example, can you guide me through the steps to create a custom report type in Salesforce? And to save you time, I'm not going to enter this prompt into ChatGPT, but I encourage you to do so you can test this out yourself. You'll be amazed how helpful ChatGPT really is if you use it the right way. So that's all I have for this video. Thank you all for watching today, and I'll see you in the next video.